Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. So Miami Tip is directing a TV show about her life, and Bobby ends up showing up to support her. Now, when he shows up, he pulls her to the side and he tells her about all this drama that went down in the previous episode between Shay and Eliza Reign. Now, the whole reason why Shay has an issue with Eliza is because last season Eliza was talking to Amara and she was talking a lot of shit about Shay's relationship with Fabo, and so she has an issue with that, and rightfully so, because Eliza really didn't know Shay like that to have all this stuff to say about her relationship. But at the same time, some of the things that Shay was saying in her live about Eliza Reign, she doesn't have any evidence to prove what she was saying, like about the whole turkey baster thing. And Miami Tip gets annoyed when she finds out that Shay mentioned her name in this live, because it seems like she's trying to say that she got this information about this whole turkey baster situation from her, and she didn't. Miami Tip is saying that she never said that Shay used the turkey baster to get pregnant by Future, so she doesn't know where Shay is getting this information from, and so I can understand why she would have an issue with her name being involved in that whole situation. I just feel like it's a conversation that Shay and Miami Tip will have to have at some point. Now, Bobby is cool with both Miami Tip and Eliza Reign, and he's having a birthday party that's coming up soon, and he wants to invite them both. So he ends up asking Miami Tip if she's willing to have a conversation with Eliza, and surprisingly, she said that she's willing to talk to Eliza and work out their issues. The only thing that she wants is for Eliza Reign to take accountability for the things that she did in their relationship as well, because they both were the reason why their friendship didn't work out. And so I don't think that that's too much to ask for, and I think that it can happen. And I think it's good that Miami Tip is willing to sit down and squash the beef with Eliza. Now, Amara is trying really hard not to go live on social media and put the father of her children on blast, because last week he ended up going live on social media and saying that Amara was lying about being a single mother and that he does do things for his children and that Amara doesn't want to let him be involved in his children's lives. And so she's really upset about that, and rightfully so. Now, despite the fact that Amara said that she does not want to go to social media about this whole situation, her mom actually encouraged her to do so, because she feels like if he was able to go live on social media and speak his truth and put her on blast, then she should be able to clear things up on social media as well. And I actually agree with her mother. He's the one that decided to go on social media first. So if she feels the need to go on social media and speak her truth as well, then she should be able to do that. At this point, Amara just feels like everybody is against her. She had a really rough season. She fell out with a lot of people. She had that whole situation with Shay. Her and Safaree had a lot of drama, and they ended up breaking up with each other. And she doesn't even know what Eliza Reign is doing behind her back, because right now, Eliza is very interested in Safaree, even though she knows that Amara dealt with him. So Flo ends up meeting up with Claudia in this episode, and she lets Claudia know that when she went to meet up with Marlon in the previous episode to let him know that she's ready to go forward with the divorce, he was sleeping outside and basically is homeless, and so she wants to let him move into her home in the empty room so that he can be there with the children and he can have some place to stay until he gets on his feet. Now, obviously, Claudia was not happy about this, and honestly, I can understand why, because why would you want the person that you're in a relationship with to have their soon-to-be ex-husband living in the house with them? So I can understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, she knew what she was getting herself into when she decided to get into this relationship with Flo. She knew that Flo was still married and that they have children together, so to me, she shouldn't have gotten involved with Flo in the first place until Flo actually ended up getting the divorce. But to me, I do feel like Flo doesn't really owe Marlon anything, and I don't feel like she's obligated to let him move into her home just because he doesn't have a place to stay, because I just feel like he hasn't been a really good husband. Now, I don't know what happens behind closed doors, and I don't know what's real and what's fake. I only know what they decide to put on social media and what they put on this TV show, and from what we've been able to see, he hasn't been a really good husband, and he's cheated a lot on her, so I don't feel like she owes him anything. But at the same time, she's grown and she can do what she wants to do, and if she feels like it's the right thing to let him move into her home, then who am I to say that she shouldn't do it? Now, Claudia starts going off on Flo, and she starts telling Flo that she feels like Flo is using her to get back at Marlon and that she really wants to be with Marlon. And so Flo obviously gets really pissed off, and she starts saying that Gael and everybody else is saying that Claudia is actually using her for clout. And so they get into a really heated argument, and she starts getting ready to fight her. Look, it just got really, really messy between the two of them. I don't feel like things are going to work out in this relationship, and I honestly feel like Flo should let go of both Marlon and Claudia because I don't feel like either one of them are good for her. Now, Eliza Reign and Safaree end up meeting up in this episode at the gym, and they are all over each other. I mean, they're rubbing all over each other. They're really, really close, and I just feel like it's wrong for the both of them to be doing what they're doing. I know that Safaree and Amara weren't necessarily serious about each other, and Amara did take back what she said in that live when she said that they weren't actually together. She said that she only said that because she was upset that Safaree did not have her back when Shay was coming at her the way that she did, and so that's the reason why she was saying that they weren't really messing around with each other. But then she cleared it up and said that they actually were messing around with each other. And so either way, I think it's wrong for Safaree to be dealing with somebody who Amara was linked to as a friend. He knows that Eliza Reign and Amara had some type of friendship with each other, and so for him to even agree to meet up with Eliza Reign, to me, is messy. And this just proves that Eliza Reign was never Amara's friend for real, because why would you go after a guy that you know that she was linked to? Even if you didn't believe that they were actually together and it was just for a storyline, it's still not a good look to mess with a guy who's somebody who you were friends with, were dealing with, and linked to publicly. So to me, she never really was Amara's friend, and she waited until she had an issue with Amara to now decide to try to mess around with Safaree. And to me, she's only doing it because she wants to get back at Amara, because she claims that Amara did the same thing to her that she did to Shay, which was cut her off without any explanation. And my thing is, these are grown women. They should be able to move on. If somebody doesn't want to be your friend, they don't want to be your friend. This is not high school. You do not have to make a big deal about the whole situation. So Trick ends up meeting up with Hot Topic in this episode, and they start talking about what happened at Super Cindy's event. In the previous episode, Zoe ended up showing up despite the fact that it was her grandfather's funeral. She ended up showing up anyway, and she really did not have a good performance. But according to Trick Daddy, he actually liked her performance and he liked her song, and he understood that she was going through a lot in that moment. And Hot Topic said that she likes, Zoe's music too, but she doesn't feel like Zoe is really confident in herself, and she doesn't really like the way that Zoe was behaving, because Zoe was kind of making a big deal about the floor being really slippery, and that's the reason why she sat down during the performance. And so she just feels like Zoe had a bad attitude. And I agree that Zoe sometimes can have a bad attitude. Like, I don't feel like she always has the right attitude when she's around certain people. That can help boost her career up, but at the same time, she was going through a lot because her grandfather just passed away. Now, Trick ended up bringing up the way that Hot Topic was acting at Super Cindy's event as well, because she ended up getting into it with Flo and Gael, and things got really ugly. But according to Hot Topic, Gael and Flo are not innocent, because she said that even though Flo runs around here saying that she doesn't like cheaters, she sat there and approved of her friend sleeping with her man at the time, and so she feels some type of way about the two of them. And look, I don't know if this is true what Hot Topic is saying. All I know is that Gael messes up a lot of opportunities for Flo, because every time Flo ends up bringing Gael to an event, Gael makes a really big scene, and that's exactly what she did at Super Cindy's event. MJ ends up going to visit Shay in this episode because he knows that she's going through a lot, and he saw the fight that she had with Eliza Reign in the previous episode, and so he goes over to check on her. And basically Shay said that the reason why she went after, Eliza Reign the way that she did is because she saw the episodes of Eliza Reign talking about her relationship with Fabo. She also said that the reason why she ended up pulling out the turkey baster is because she heard that Eliza Reign got pregnant by Future using a turkey baster, and that she tries to trap men with children. And I don't like that she said that, because I don't feel like Eliza actually used a turkey baster to get pregnant by Future. Future has a bunch of other different baby mamas, and so are all these women using turkey basters to get pregnant by him too? I mean, it takes the accountability off of this man, because Eliza Reign is not the only woman that he has children with, and so I just don't understand why she said that. To me, it just takes accountability off of him. Eliza did not force him to get in the bed with her. Therefore, she did not force him to have a child. Now, that's just my opinion. Other people can think differently, but this is how I feel about the situation. Now, Shay gets really upset when MJ tells her that he found out that she was pregnant from their mother, because obviously Shay has an issue with their mom going around telling everybody that she's pregnant. And I don't know why she's doing that either. Like, to me, that's really, really messy. And all that's going to do is make Shay steer clear of her, because Shay's not going to want to share any information with her out of fear that her mother's going to go and tell everybody her business. Because Mama D also said in last week's episode that Shay's mom told her that she was pregnant as well. So look, her mom is being really messy going around telling her business like that. Shay also gets really upset because of the way that her mom reacted when she found out that she was pregnant again by Fabo. And look, I understand why Shay would be upset by her mother saying that this second pregnancy is a mistake, but I understand where her mother is coming from. She doesn't like Fabo. She doesn't think that he's a good guy. And from what we've been able to see, he hasn't been the best boyfriend to Shay. And so I don't really feel like her mom meant any harm by saying what she said, but I do feel like her mom could have probably worded it a different way. Zoe ended up showing up to an event, and Joy and Hot Topic were there, and Joy actually ended up giving Zoe some flowers and apologizing to her for the way that she behaved last season when the two of them ended up getting into it. And I think that it was good for them to be able to squash their beef, because to me, they didn't really have any beef to begin with. And then things got really messy between Hot Topic and Zoe though, because Hot Topic started telling Zoe that she likes her music and she thinks she has a lot of potential, but she doesn't really feel like Zoe has a lot of confidence from watching her perform. Now, Zoe ended up getting offended by this, and she started basically going off on Hot Topic. And look, I don't understand why Zoe always reacts this way to constructive criticism. You can't be in this business and not expect for people to give their opinion. And so if you're not strong enough to handle it, then I don't think that this is the right business for her to be in, because to me, she got a pass on the whole situation with Trina last season because they were kind of being mean to her when they showed up to that event. But now this time, to me, I just feel like she's going off for no reason. Now, maybe the reason why she got so upset at Hot Topic saying that she needs to build her confidence up is because she did say earlier in the episode that people have been attacking her for the way that she looks on social media. But then she should say that instead of going off on this woman, because I honestly don't think that Hot Topic meant any harm by what she said to Zoe. Now, she did start calling Zoe all types of fat names when they got into this argument, and it was just really, really messy. And so I don't know if Zoe's gonna make it in this business, because she keeps falling out with everybody in it that can help her. So Bobby ends up setting up the meetup between Eliza Reign and Miami Tip, and they have this conversation, and it actually goes really, really well, and it shows maturity on both sides. I like that Miami Tip sat there and allowed Eliza Reign to express how she felt when Miami Tip went live and made all these accusations about her. She told Miami Tip that she was really hurt about this and that it really affected her case, and people really just looked at her some type of way, and that it's still affecting her today, because obviously Shay just went live on social media and started saying that she used a turkey baster to get pregnant by Future, and Miami Tip took full accountability for what she did. She said that she shouldn't have made that live and that she should have kept whatever issues that she had with Eliza to herself and kept it between the two of them, and they should have talked about it instead of going to social media. And so they were able to actually make up with each other, and I think that that's good. Now, I don't know if they're going to be friends after this, and really they don't have to be. As long as they squash their beef and the two of them can be cordial when they're in the same room, I think they did a job well done. Now, Bobby ends up inviting them both to his birthday party that's coming up, and he tells them that Amara is also going to be there. And so Eliza Reign did say that she's been messing around with Safaree, and so he feels like she should tell Amara about it so that Amara doesn't find out from somebody else. And Eliza really doesn't feel like she should have to, but I honestly feel like the damage is already done. Like, she could tell Amara that she's messing around with Safaree, but to be honest with you, I still feel like the damage is done, and I don't feel like there's any coming back from this, because honestly, it's really messy and it shows Eliza's character. Now, Marlon ends up moving back into Flo's house in this episode, and look, I don't like how happy her mom was that he was back into the house, because look, I don't understand why you would be happy for your daughter to be stuck with a guy who cheats on her and doesn't treat her well. I just don't understand that. I understand that she's traditional and she doesn't feel like you should get a divorce, but if your daughter is unhappy in this marriage, then why do you want her to stay in it? It just rubbed me the wrong way. But Flo did make sure to let Marlon and her mother know that she's not getting back with him and that she's still going through with the divorce. She just wants him to stay there until he gets back on his feet, because she just feels like it's the right thing to do. And then Gael ends up showing up, and to me, she's the only person that's not happy that he's back in the home. I mean, she did claim that she slept with him, so I can understand why she wouldn't want her sister to be with him, but I don't trust Gael either, because she's really messy and she's a troublemaker. And she proved it in this episode because she ends up pulling Flo to the side and saying that she went online and she found Hot Topic's criminal history. And so she's going to put her on blast at Bobby's birthday party. And so that's a really messy situation. Like, why is Gael always showing up to these events with Flo and stirring up a bunch of drama and making Flo look bad? But to be honest with you, I can't feel bad for Flo anymore because she keeps inviting Gael to all these events. And so people are not going to invite Flo anymore because she's building a bad reputation for herself because she keeps bringing Gael. And I feel like Gael does this stuff on purpose because she really doesn't want to see Flo succeed, to be honest with you. That's just what it seems like to me. And at the very end of this episode, Amara ends up meeting up with the father of her twin daughters. And look, the episode cut there, so we're not going to be able to see what they talk about until next week's episode. But I thought that this episode was actually pretty good. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.